Oh my god, finally. Oh my god. I did try to stream yesterday, but oh man, I was just so busy helping with family stuff. Okay, but we're finally good. We're good. We're good. We can finally start on the next next episode, chapter, whatever it's called in this game. It's episode, okay. Yes. Episode 3, The Adventure of the Runaway Room. Here we go.
Glancing over my records of the late last century, I am faced by the events of a certain bitter winter. A murder in a carriage as it sped through dense London fog in the dead of night. Though the victim and the perpetrator were the only ones inside, there were multiple witnesses to the crime itself. However, none could have imagined at the time that such a seemingly obvious case as this would end in such a horrendous manner. My friend, Mr. Herlock Sholmes, once said of the incident, "I believe that perhaps that case was indeed the prelude, the beginning of a long concerto that impressive Japanese student and I were to play together."
Amazing. Is this really just a railway station?
Railway station or not, I've never seen such an enormous building before.
And look at all the steam locomotives. This country is incredible.
Great Britain.
I feel like I'm dreaming.
So this is the capital of Great Britain.
So, where to?
Oh, hello.
Climb aboard. I'll take you wherever you want to go.
In that case, the Supreme Court in Whitehall, if you wouldn't mind.
My pleasure. I suppose you're visiting students from abroad, eh?
Yes.
Thought so. Well then, I hope you enjoy your stay. And welcome to the centre of the world, Great Britain's mighty capital, London.
Alright. Pretty good intro. Oh, damn. Holy shit. This is quite... Are we in Big Ben? 18th of February, 9:21 a.m. British Supreme Court. Lord Chief Justice's office. What an incredible place. It's so imposing. It's almost suffocating. This place is breathtaking. It looks like a fortress. There are some stone buildings like this in Japan now, of course, but they've only been built in a few short decades since we opened our borders to the outside world. An authentic example like this has quite a different impact, wouldn't you agree? A far cry from the wood and paper most of our buildings are constructed from. It's certainly unfamiliar. But I think there's more to the differences than just construction materials. What is this place again? This is the Lord Chief Justice's office, Naruhodo-san, in the Supreme Court of Great Britain. The Lord Chief Justice. We had instructions to report here at this time, if circumstances were different. We were supposed to let the Lord Chief Justice know that we had arrived from Japan. But Kazuma can't. No. So instead, we are here in a different capacity. Also, welcome, Snappy. Yeah, Yippee Chronicles, yes. We're still in the early game, despite it already being like 3 episodes. Because the first 2 episodes were just prologue, or basically just the whole prologue, which is surprisingly long. But yeah, this is a new experience for me because I never completed this game before. So yes, it's gonna be an interesting one, and I like the presentation. But yeah, the prologue was surprisingly long. It seems to be way longer than the other ones, than the other Ace Attorney games, so it's definitely interesting. As Envoy is to report the news of Kazuma-sama's death. Yes. And having delivered his or her message, an envoy's duty is done. So, we'd have to return to Japan. If you want to remain here in Great Britain, I have to take Kazuma's place as the law student selected for the study tour. Yes, which means you'll need the requisite qualifications as a lawyer. Which is what I've been studying for. Here in Great Britain, it is the Lord Chief Justice who appoints lawyers. So that's the second reason why we're here. To have you officially recognized as a lawyer. It's the only way that we'll be able to remain here in London. I hope I'm up to scratch. I'm guessing it's probably the guy, who I imagine will probably be an elderly fellow.
Ha! Good morning. Sorry for keeping you.
Alright. Okay, he does kind of look like... the description of the... kind of looks like he meets the description of the voice I gave.
I trust you all two aren't exhausted after your long voyage from Japan. It seems I'm 1 hour, 12 minutes, and 47 seconds late. My apologies.
Oh, no, don't mention it. Yeah, this guy's actually... I thought he'd be more portly. We're never happier than when we're standing around with nothing much to do.
How fortunate. So, introductions. I am Mel Strongheart, Lord Chief Justice of the British Empire.
Ugh, and I feel like a little mouse under an elephant's foot. Come on, Mr. Naruhodo, don't be a mouse. Oh, it's an honor to meet you, Lord Chief Justice Strongheart. I'm Ryonosuke Naruhodo from the Empire of Japan.
Well, Mr. Naruhodo, welcome to London, the capital of our glorious British Empire.
Yes, thank you.
So, what are your impressions of our capital so far? How do you like London?
Help! I've been so nervous ever since I got here that I can't remember a single thing about the city. It's simply splendid, isn't it, Mr. Naruhodo?
Oh?
We had a wonderful view of London streets from the carriage on the way here from the station. Everything is so impressive and grand. I must say, I'm almost lost for words.
I'm glad to hear that you like it. The city boasts tramways, piped water and gas, and even cables supplying electricity. We spearhead every revolutionary new technology in the world. Every visitor to London is astounded.
Oh yes, astounded is the word. Thanks for saving me there, Suzuda-san. Everyone seems so jolly and full of vigor.
Yes, there is much excitement about the upcoming great exhibition we will be hosting here in London.
Great exhibition?
Cultural and technological achievements from around the globe are to be exhibited here in our great city. And it will be the greatest spectacle of its kind in history, and will make Paris's World Fair look like a toy shop.
gosh, I can hardly imagine how magnificent it's going to be.
Great Britain's capital city is nothing but magnificent. London is the center of the modern world.
Even if you do say so yourself.
The sun will never set on our great empire. Perhaps it is the fate that in these progressive times we welcome visitors from the land of the rising sun.
Lord Chief Justice, I think you were expecting a student of law for the study tour, weren't you?
Absolutely. Mr. Kazuma Sogi, if my memory serves.
That's right.
The British government has already been telegraphed a full report on the situation. I understand the young man lost his life aboard the steamship bound for our shores.
That's amazing. The news reached him before we even arrived.
My country naturally extends its deepest condolences to yours.
Oh, thank you.
And you honored this appointment specifically to inform me of the news?
Yes. We are here in the capacity of envoys from Japan to report the sad news in person.
They tell me you Japanese are people of protocol and courtesy, and I say that it is true. And it is with some regret that I must inform you that the death of the young lawyer means the study tour arrangement can no longer proceed.
If you would just hear us out, Lord Strongheart.
What do you have to say, madam?
It is about the study tour. Mr. Naruhodo here would like to make a proposal.
Would he now? Well, Mr. Naruhodo?
This is it then, the moment of truth. The thing is, Lord Strongheart, I was wondering if perhaps you would consider allowing the study tour to go ahead.
Don't misunderstand me. Britain would ideally like to see the tour go ahead, but without a lawyer from your country, there's nothing to be done.
Well, in that case, what if there was someone else? Another lawyer from Japan, I mean.
Is there something I don't know? Only a single lawyer was invited to Great Britain from your country. And that was Mr. Asogi. At least that is what I've been led to understand.
Well, the thing is, this really isn't going well at all. I just can't seem to find the right words to say to this man. Mr. Naruhodo, I could ruin things here if I'm not careful. What am I going to say? If there's someone else here from Japan who could be described as a lawyer, it's Mr. Sato! No one! Me. It's me! I can do it!
Is that so?
I mean, I don't actually have any qualifications as such, but...
No qualifications, you say? And yet you still claim to be a lawyer?
I have acted as lawyer in court before. Only once, as it happens. And I had Kazuma to help me, and I was the accused, but glossing over the details. I've been spending every spare moment on the journey here to Great Britain studying. I've learned all about British law and court proceedings while I was on board the SS Budia.
The voyage from Japan is some 50 days, I believe. Not what you might call a full education. To become a qualified lawyer here in Britain, not only do you need a university degree in law, but you must also complete several years of training.
I realize it's far too short of a period of time, but I can't just go back to Japan. Kazuma, Mr. Asogi's journey has only just begun. Coming here on the study tour was all he thought about. I have to carry on and do everything he planned to do. I know it must sound like I have an overly inflated opinion of myself, but I would do anything to prove that I have what it takes. Any test you can care to set me. Just one chance. That's all I'm asking for. Please.
31 seconds.
Sorry?
Your opening statement there, Mr. Naruhodo. It was 31 seconds long. Not to be brief, not too protracted, a perfectly judged appeal, I would say.
Oh yeah, Ryunosuke Naruhodo's name is kind of hard to spell at times, yeah. It's a pretty long name. You like this part so much? Oh really? Okay.
Which is a skill that would stand you in a good stead as a lawyer.
Oh, thanks.
So, you're willing to put those words to trial, are you? Well, I'm all for entertainment, huh? But let me ask you one thing first, sir.
Yes?
You say you intend to do everything Mr. Asogi planned to do. Are you firmly set on that path?
Well, yes. That's my intention.
I see.
Am I imagining things? Or did his expression just alter a fraction all of a sudden?
Very well. You have your wish. I'll give you a chance. A test to become a specially certified lawyer. Whether you pass or fail is entirely down to you.
Really? I mean, like that part? Because you did... Oh hey, you said you... all that under 1 minute and 30 seconds. Didn't know you would chill like that. Yeah. There's a surprising change of circumstances there. And test. So, what form will the test take exactly?
Tell me, Mr. Naruhodo, what do you consider the role of a lawyer to be?
Well, defending people, of course.
Well said. So, let's have you defend someone.
Oh damn, you're just throwing him into a court session?
Huh?
He's throwing him into a case.
Your timing is perfect, in fact. There's enough trial about to begin later today. No advocate has been appointed for defense as yet, so this will become welcome news.
Today? Straight away?
If you manage to secure a verdict of not guilty, you'll have passed my test. What could be simpler?
Ugh. How do I get myself into these situations? Well, could I ask, what sort of trial is it, Lord Strongheart?
Yes, good question. Ah, I remember. It's a murder trial.
A murder?
An extremely simple case, I understand. You really can't lose.
You're a warrior, go fight the dragon in the mountains there. Yeah. That's easy to say.
But I should mention, just in case, if the defendant is found guilty, he will of course be sentenced to capital punishment.
Capital punishment? He'll be put to death?
Here in Great Britain, murderers are sent to the gallows without exception. Presumably, you read that much in your short C-based introduction to British law.
We can't possibly agree to such a test. We will be toying with a man's life.
I am the Lord Chief Justice, and I've decided it's acceptable.
But you can't do that, can you?
There's no need to overcomplicate this. All you have to do is ensure that you don't lose.
So the defendant may live or die depending on how well I perform in court. If I lose, he'll be hanged.
Mr. Naruhodo, you've come to me claiming to be a lawyer. If you want me to take you seriously, you need to prove you're willing to do a lawyer's job. And you say you intend to see through the will of your compatriot, Mr. Asogi. I would like to understand just how far you're willing to go in order to make that happen.
He's testing my resolve.
What's the matter? You've fallen silent. I'm sorry, but time is pressing. The trial begins shortly. I need an answer from you now. What's it to be?
What do I say? Do I agree to this absurd test? Oh, I won't do it. Immediate game over. I'll do it. Alright then. If I have to give you a decision now, my answer is... I can't do it. I can't get the words out.
15 seconds. Your decision-making needs work if you want to be a lawyer. That was too slow. So, it's as I suspected, is it?
Sorry?
You have noble intentions, but but lacked the resolve to see them through. The test is cancelled. Thank you for stopping by. Go and acquire your ticket for passage back to the east tomorrow. This conversation is over.
Yes, Lord Strongheart. Thank you for offering me a chance. Mr. Naruhodo. I'm sorry, Mr. Sato, but what could I do? It's alright, I understand. You do? It's not an easy decision to choose whether to defend a man in these circumstances. But resolve has absolutely nothing to do with it.
What are you trying to say, madam?
I think what Mr. Sato means is that no matter how badly I'd like to be recognized as a lawyer and stand here in Great Britain, to risk another man's life by treating his one and only chance at trial so trivially would be utterly unforgivable, and I feel the exactly the same way. I'm sure the defendant won't see his trial as a test, as some kind of experiment. A lawyer may fight for his clients in court day after day, but for each one of those clients, the particular day they stand in the dock may be the only chance they have to fight to prove their innocence. No, I was wrong. I'm not qualified to do that job yet. I'm sorry for wasting your precious time, Lord Chief Justice.
Wait, Mr. Naruhodo.
Oh, was there something else?
It's approximately 20 minutes by carriage to Old Bailey from here. If you leave immediately, you should be there in time.
But I just said that.
I was quite serious in what I told you. The defendant in this case has literally no one to advocate for him.
What?
At this point, he can't hope to find someone to represent him. The trial will begin without a defense, and if that happens, there's only one possible outcome. He will receive the most severe sentence the judge can pass down.
But that's awful.
But that is the truth.
Why does it have to be like this?
Please don't expect an answer to every question. The cold hard truth of the matter is that there is only one person now with a chance to save this man from a very miserable end. And that is you.
I'm really his only hope?
So, what do you say now, madam?
Me? What do you mean, Lord Strongheart?
You said it wasn't an easy decision to choose whether to defend a man in these circumstances, and I agree. But in my estimation, it is purely and simply a matter of resolve.
Oh.
Our time is up here. I have a meeting to attend. I must leave in 2 minutes and 16 seconds. So, venture into our great city and enjoy yourselves.
He's gone. The Old Bailey. First true case, baby. First British trial in the game. I was gonna say trial, but we technically already had a trial in the first case, in the first episode, which was defending myself in court. Otherwise, I'd get fucking murdered. Alright, if we're going to start doing this, Mr. Naruhodo, we must leave at once.
Move. Old Bailey. London's High Criminal Court with an illustrious past. Old Bailey. This is where I'm to take my test and prove my worthiness as a lawyer.
If you have ever catch a cab, we might be able to make it to the courthouse in time.
Here we go. 18th of February, 9:45 a.m. The Old Bailey. Defendant's antechamber.
Oh, thank goodness, we're in time. There's still 15 minutes until the trial begins. I never knew a horse-drawn carriage could go so fast. I thought my teeth were going to rattle loose. Did you hear what I said to the driver when we climbed aboard? Get us to our destination in 5 minutes, driver. And there's a guinea in it for you. It's one of my favorite lines from the Sherlock Holmes stories, and it worked quite perfectly.
I'm not sure why you're so pleased. I thought we were going to die, and we had to pay gold for the privilege.
Well, at least we arrived here before the trial started.
Yes, I suppose there's that.
Anyway, I still don't understand it. The court clerk said the defendant should be here, but there's no sign of him at all.
Where the fuck is he? So this is the Old Bailey. Even in this room, for defendants to wait in is grand.
Are you alright, Mr. Naruhodo?
I'm feeling tense, that's all. This place gives me the same sense of foreboding that I remember from the Supreme Court in Japan. An oppressive air, almost as if the building itself is going to crush whoever's about to be sentenced. It feels like only yesterday that I was the one about to be crushed.
Yes, whoever the man you're to defend is, I imagine he's feeling very alone at this moment.
Top of the morning to ya, madam. Sir? What are you doing following me here? Things are fairly desperate, aren't they? Sorry? Would you look at those expressionless faces? From the east, are yous? Oh wait, hold on, let me change my voice. Might go for a more Scottish accent. We're from Japan, yes. Ah, Japan, is it? Right, say no more. So, how much do you need? How much do yous need? No, we're just here because... No need to explain, fella. I've been there myself, so I have. No place to go, nothing to eat, barely a penny to your name, all the while in a strange faraway land. Well, actually, we haven't found a place to stay yet, no. You tried to give him an Irish accent, did not work as well, yikes. Yeah, I'm also kind of struggling here as well. Tis grand, tis grand. Let me start by giving you 1,000 guineas. Say nothing now.
1,000 guineas?
Please, Mrs. Sato, you don't have to shout.
But 1,000 guineas is enough to build an entire mansion in the most prestigious area of Tokyo.
What?
Tis nothing to me at all. I like to ensure I have sufficient funds to weather a rainy day, you see. I've enough, well, to buy the city of London or 2-3 times over.
Could that much rain even fall in one day? Well, even so, we can't possibly accept a large sum of money. Ah! That hit me in the eye!
Don't get me wrong, fella. I'm not giving to you no strings attached. I'll be wanting you to do something for me.
Oh?
To be honest, 'tis a little embarrassing. The trial is about to begin, you see. For me good self here, and I'll be on the dock. So now, what I want you to do is come along with me and stand there beside me. Officially, you'd be my lawyer, but that's just a little detail now.
Oh, well, the thing is...
Don't worry about a thing. All you have to do is stand up there next to me, nothing more. Otherwise, you see, the trial is going to start without me having any kind of representation at all.
So it's true. The Lord Chief Justice wants to make it all up.
I'm terribly sorry to have asked, but does this mean you're the defendant in this trial? Blustery blazes! Do yous not know who I am? Me, one of London's biggest names?
No, sorry. We only just arrived in the city, you see.
I see. I suppose it isn't altogether impossible. Well, just next to the Hyde Park there in the centre of the London is another beautiful park.
Sorry? A park? What?
'Tis called McGilded Park, full of blossoming flowers in the spring and singing birds and whatnot. I donated it to the city, so I did. Ah, an entire park in central London? A city of smiles, that's my vision for London. There's nothing Magnus Golden... oh my god. There's nothing Magnus McGilded wouldn't do for the city, and it's quite queer old people. McGilded. Okay, that's quite the name. That's amazing. I mean, really extraordinary.
Ah, but now they call to say I'm a good-for-nothing criminal. Me, Magnus McGilded. What is the matter with the London police, I ask ya?
Alright, don't pass out. Mr. Naruhodo, perhaps now would be a good time to introduce ourselves while the gentleman catches his breath. Good idea. Mr. McGilded, the thing is, we're actually here in London to study British law. We're law students on a study tour from Japan, you see. So, if you don't have to be a lawyer for the trial yet, then you'd be happy to put yourself in the hands of a...
What was I saying after you... What was I saying... What was I after saying, you daft idiot? I've been giving you 1,000 guineas to stand up there next to me, haven't I?
Well, yes, but I wasn't really offering to just stand up there next to you.
Oh, I think what's going on here.
Sorry.
I know what you're thinking. This chancellor of a fella claims to have more money than the Queen. But if that's true, why the blazes can't he hire the finest lawyer in all of England? Because he did it. That's the only explanation. Well...
Because he did it, that's the only reason. Yeah, he really has transitioned through various expressions in a very short period of time, I do agree. Exactly! Yes, exactly!
What now?
Well, like you said, if you have all that money, but you don't have anyone to represent you in court, there's no other logical conclusion that you're guilty of all the charges! Damn!
Well, you call a spade and hasty too, so you do.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean any offense. I still can't express myself very well in English, you see. And I'm never sure what's acceptable to say and what isn't, so...
Is that so? Because you sounded fluent enough when you were telling me what the blackguard I must be.
I'm terribly sorry.
I can't say that I blame you for thinking it, fella.
It is a little strange, to be honest. Why don't you have a lawyer, I mean?
That would be the fault of the Reaper.
Sorry? Did he just say Reaper?
Aye. The Grim Reaper of the Bailey, Lord Barak von Zeeks. He's the prosecutor.
The prosecutor is the Grim Reaper?
When Van Zeeks stands for the prosecution, they call the accused as sacrificial lambs.
My English is so bad, proceeds to dish out the most scathing insult.
And to this day, in every single trial in which he's been the prosecutor, the accused has been damned.
What?
So it's reached a desperate situation where there's no one willing to stand in defense against the fella at all. You could say he's a living legend of the Old Bailey.
Hello, Candler. Goodness, Lord Barak von Zeeks. He must be an exceptionally talented prosecutor then.
Talented isn't the word you're looking for, madam. It's cursed.
Cursed? What on earth?
The defendant is summoned, and his counsel. Please make your way into the courtroom. The trial is about to begin.
His counsel? That will be me.
Oh, 'tis time. Well then, fella, don't let me down.
But I don't know anything about the case. You haven't told me what happened.
Until you show your face here, I made up my mind, so I had.
Sorry?
I decided I had to defend myself in there.
How would that have worked?
But then you made an appearance, a student of law, wouldn't you know? 'Tis no accident, I can assure you of that. 'Tis fate. So don't get cold feet now, please.
You like the prosecutor in this game? Yeah, I've heard the prosecutor in this game is pretty sick.
I literally know nothing about the case or about this man who stands accused. In fact, the only thing I do know is that I can't just turn my back on him.
And also his fucking name. Mr. Naruhodo.
The man is no one. He'll have to stand alone in that courtroom, armed with nothing to defend himself. Yes, something that Cosmo would never have allowed to happen. Counsel for the defense, what are you doing? If you're late for the start of the trial, you will lose your right to stand.
Get the fuck in there, man.
I'll be right there. It's happening then. My first trial in a British court. I hope you're watching over me, Cosmo. Because I have no idea how the hell I'm gonna manage this. "18th of February, 10 a.m. The Old Bailey courtroom."
Oh, is that the jury?
So this is the highest court in Great Britain, the Old Bailey. The centuries of history in this place is palpable, isn't it? It's so different to the Supreme Court in Japan.
It feels both imposing and serene at the same time. The atmosphere almost makes words redundant. Whatever the country, determining a person's guilt or innocence is always a solemn affair. May I say something, Mr. Naruhodo?
Oh, yes, what?
Your eyes look ready to pop out of your head again.
I know, but I just can't help it.
Oh, there he is. There's the prosecutor, and there's the judge.
In the name of Her Majesty, the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. We are here today to determine the guilt or innocence of Mr. Magnus McGilded. I now call upon the counsels for the prosecution and defense to declare their willingness to proceed.
The prosecution is fully prepared.
That must be the Reaper of the Bailey. He really does look fully prepared to dispatch his next poor victim to the underworld. Counsel for the defense, you appear to be Eastern. Do you speak English?
Huh? Oh, yes, of course. Sorry.
But he asked if the defense was ready.
And I couldn't be further from ready if I tried.
Those eyes please me, Nipponese. They shroud your fear, your doubt, your trepidation. They run wild, clinging to some phantom notion of courage. The quintessential look of a sacrificial lamb.
A cold shiver just ran down my spine all the way to the tips of my toes. Now, Mr. McGilded. Yes, my lord? You stand accused of murder, a capital offense. You could be sent to the gallows if found guilty. Are you quite sure you wish to entrust your defense to this foreigner? As I've always said, my lord, 'tis a grand thing to give opportunities to the young. Even if the fellow is a student from some little island off in the Far East. Is it not the British way to ignore the dangers to yourself and give those less fortunate a fair chance? How does it think that acts of chivalry do the great British Empire proud?
Oh, what a fine young little buddy, Azadam. Did you hear that he donated £5,000 to the government the other day?
Mother, please, may we go and play in the McGilded Park?
It seems as though everyone in the public gallery is firmly behind Mr. McGilded. Also, hey, Flying Angel. It's been a while.
That's definitely welcome news, and he certainly has a way with words. I'm surprised he couldn't convince anyone to defend him. Eloquently put, Mr. McGilded, and most laudable sentiments. Now, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I'm sure I need hardly to remind you that you 6 members of the public have been selected for your impartiality. Are you ready to proceed?
Yes, my lord. If the task is to send rotters to the gallows where they belong, I'm more than ready.
At the manor, his lordship always says we should dispose of rubbish promptly. Naturally, I agree.
Ha! Any criminals here will soon be wishing they never set eyes on me.
She's just not saying anything. Oh damn. Yeah, Pokemon randomized Nuzlocke tend to be pretty rough. What voice do I give you?
I feel it too.
Oh, don't mind me, my dears. I'll be just getting on with my knitting. Must finish these mitts for my grandson.
Ah, Mr. Naruhodo. Those people are...
The jury, yes. That's something we don't have in Japan yet.
That's right. I've only ever read about it. But here in Great Britain, the court's final verdict depends on the opinions of these 6 jurors. The judge passes sentence according to the law, but the jurors determine guilt based on common sense. So the defendant is ultimately judged from 2 completely different points of view.
But how exactly do the jurors give their verdict?
That I don't know, but... I'm sure it will become clear as the trial progresses.
Yes.
Yes! Just like in his, soundbite.
Prosecutor Von Zeeks.
My lord.
It's been a number of years since we've seen you here in the courtroom. I thought you'd renounce your fame.
I'm known as the Reaper of the Bailey, my lord. Infamy rather than fame, I would say. But yes, 5 years have passed since I last spread my wings in this capacity.
So what brings you back? Is there some change of circumstance of which the court should be aware?
I leave that to your imagination, my lord.
So the Reaper has been out of action for 5 years. Why did he have to choose today of all to make a comeback?
Don't lose heart, Mr. Naruhodo.
As you wish, sir. The court nevertheless welcomes your return. Now then, opening statements, I think. A summary of the case, if you please.
Certainly, my lord. As your lordship is aware, this is a case for the overwhelming simplicity.
We must be the only ones here who aren't aware.
The incident took place in the late evening 3 days past. The hour was some minutes after 10. The victim was a maker of building bricks known in the community as Thrice-Fired Mason.
Sorry, Thrice? He was a very accomplished craftsman. The bricks he fired were said to be almost indestructible. The victim's corpse was discovered in an omnibus in service on the streets of London at the time. A dagger had been thrust into the victim's abdomen and is believed to be the ultimate cause of death.
Here is the autopsy report from the investigating medical officer at Scotland Yard.
Thank you, counsel. I shall accept that and the photograph as evidence.
Alright. Alright. And one further item of evidence. The prosecution wishes to submit these as well.
And these are... Good lord! Is that blood, counsel?
Yes, my lord. Seized by a policeman who arrived at the scene. These gore-soaked gloves were taken from the hands of the accused when he was arrested.
What? Mr. McGilded's gloves?
had blood on them? The case is like getting put in a random boxing match against an all-time champion. Yeah. Pretty much. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure that's like almost every single Phoenix Wright game. Or at least to some capacity. Or in the later cases, that is. But then again, it's usually like that in the third case of every of practically every Phoenix Wright game.
Yes, I will accept these as evidence as well.
Alright, now time to look at the evidence in thorough detail, because I keep forgetting to do that, because I did not know that, because I'm not used to this bloody mechanic in the game. Okay, so victim, thrice fired mason, male, 54, occupation brickmaker, time and cause of death, 15th of February, 10 p.m. and 11 p.m, okay. Stabbed once in the abdomen with a knife while just journeying in an omnibus, died due to internal hemorrhaging resulting from trauma. Okay. And take a look at this. It's a knife in that guy's abdomen. And don't know what's in there. Okay. Yeah, he is dead. This is definitely blood, isn't it? Not the most pleasant sight to be confronted with on our first day in London. Well, nothing will come of grumbling now. No. By the way, is Mr. McGilded right-handed? Yes, I believe so. He was toying with a coin in his right hand a little earlier. Ah, pity. If only he'd been left-handed. Nah, it's jam. It's strawberry jam. I think blood on either glove would be fairly incriminating, really. Anything else to look at? Oops, no, it's just a glove. No. Okay. Nothing else to look at but the blood stain on the hand, on the right-handed glove. How did I get into this? I'm backed into a corner before I even started.
Continuing. According to the driver of the omnibus, there were only 2 passengers traveling inside this vehicle at the time.
Only 2?
Obviously, one of those passengers was the deceased brickmaker, Mr. Mason. The other was the accused, Magnus McGilded.
Well, rather damning circumstances to say the least. Defendant, what say you?
Well, of course, I have no recollection of such a thing.
Mr. McGilded!
To be sure, I rode the omnibus that evening, but whenever I'm in a carriage, I'm taken with a fierce tiredness, and I always succumb to it.
Are you claiming to have been asleep?
'Tis the motion of a carriage, my lord. Lilting, so it is, and when I opened my eyes again, 'twas a desperate sight before me. The body of a man I never laid eyes on before in my life.
Huh.
Now I ask yous, what good-hearted soul wouldn't rush to help a fella bleeding from his stomach? I wasn't about to start worrying about me gloves now, was I? I reached out to give the man a hand.
So the blood had gone into the gloves then, after the man had been killed.
Unfortunately, that statement of the driver's is only the beginning.
What? That's not all of it?
There were multiple witnesses to the precise moment at which the brickmaker was fatally stabbed.
Order! Order! Order!
When the killer took place, the only victim and the accused were inside the carriage. Only the victim and the accused were inside the carriage, and there were witnesses to the crime. That is not just a case of compelling evidence. It's the nail in the coffin for the accused.
Ah, shit.
Her. Thank you, counsel. The circumstances of the crime have been made quite clear. I think we will hear testimony from these witnesses first of all.
Your wish is my command. Oh my god, I'm getting rapid fire pings on Discord. What the hell? Okay, alright, we're back. Bailiff, bring the witnesses in at once.
Oh man. Oh man, that's... Okay, 3 witnesses. Man, this is gonna be quite the case.
Witnesses, your names and occupations.
My name is, well, everybody calls me Beppo. I drive the omnibus in the Far East End.
Bruce Fairplay. I'm a banker in this city.
My name's First, Lady First. I make hats for gents.
Let's begin by confirming the facts. 3 days ago, at a short time after 10 o'clock in the evening, all of you present in the stand were in an omnibus and witness to the aforementioned incident.
Yeah, well, I like Lady First. It's a funny name.
Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Quite right.
Yes, sir. That's right, sir.
Very well then, let's proceed to your formal testimonies, please. Each of you will tell the court precisely what you saw.
Witness testimony. Or questioning. It's kinda hard to read the font in that brief moment. What the witnesses saw. It was the last bus in the evening, so I had a few customers. I remember it well.
The victim and the man accused of killing him were sat next to each other inside the bus. Then out of the blue, the accursed just reached over and plunged the knife right into his guts.
That's right. He stabbed him. I screamed, I did. I couldn't help it.
As soon as I heard the scream, I stopped the bus, and then I saw it too.
Unambiguous testimony, I must say.
Exactly, my lord. These men witnessed the incident in the omnibus with their own eyes.
I'd like to ask a question if I may.
Yes, Consul?
Well, this testimony makes absolutely no sense to me whatsoever.
Why not?
Well, the incident took place inside a moving carriage, didn't it?
As has been clearly stated from the outset, yes.
Well, in that case, how could those 2 witnesses possibly have seen what happened? There's no way they could have seen the inside of the moving carriage.
How quaint. I read that civilization in the Eastern Island nations was a good century behind our own. But you're here in London yourself. Are you really so ignorant about our omnibuses?
Huh?
Tell me, my Nipponese friend, have you even traveled in an omnibus?
Well, no. We, only arrived in London this morning.
No matter. I've arranged for us to see for ourselves the actual scene of the crime, that is.
What do you mean? The actual scene? How?
A carriage is designed to be moved after all. Presumably you understand that much.
Yes.
The omnibus in which this bloody crime took place is here today, in this very building.
Here? What? The entire carriage?
Bailiff, bring forth the stricken omnibus.
So that's an omnibus. The omnibus. I can't believe they could bring something so enormous in here. Great Britain's courtrooms are amazing.
As you can see, the omnibus is pulled by 2 horses and can carry up to 8 passengers. 4 passengers seated inside the enclosed cabin and another 4 on the deck above. Every Londoner knows that the best views of the city's architecture and sights are to be had from the top of an omnibus. And I should point out to our foreign guests that there is a skylight on the roof, allowing a view of the interior from the seats above.
Ah, a skylight. Oh.
The penny drops at last, I see. These 2 gentlemen were occupying the rooftop seats of this omnibus when the murder took place. That is how they came to witness the grim incident. Through the skylight.
Ugh, that makes perfect sense. Well, counsel, this is a first. In all my years behind the bench, I never experienced the crime itself being brought into the courtroom.
There are a number of important clues remaining inside the carriage, my lord. I would like to submit the omnibus itself as evidence. That is the prosecution's wish.
Pretty bad spot. They put their feet. Yeah, they could just. Yeah, the people from the rooftop seats can easily just lay all their shit on top of the skylight. Being their feet, their luggage, literally anything. It would just be total, well, almost darkness for the people sitting below. I mean, at least they have the windows on the side. No woman. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. If they're wearing any. Oh yeah. If any ladies wearing any skirts and standing over the skylight. Oh man, that's. Yeah. That's yeah. Yikes. Yeah, that too. That is also. That's also a pretty unfavorable spot for a woman wearing a skirt. I would like. Yeah, I already said that.
Very well. I see no reason why not. This omnibus is hereby formally accepted as evidence.
The omnibus has been entered into the...
I can't believe it. The entire crime scene entered as evidence? Yes, Great Britain is simply extraordinary. I could help myself a lot by giving that omnibus a thorough examination, seeing as it's here. We can do that shit now! Let's open this fucking door. Well, let's open the door and go inside, shall we?
Ugh, scene of a murder. It's horrible.
Alright. Blood.
That's blood that's soaked into the seat. The victim's obviously.
Yes, and that seat would clearly be visible from the roof deck.
Would you really stab someone in full view of the other passengers like that, I wonder?
Well, it was after dark, and there was a lamp on in here, so perhaps the culprit couldn't see anything outside through the skylight.
Whichever way you look at it, it doesn't seem like it was a planned attack. Ah, that's the poster for the great exhibition that's due to start 6 months from now. There's a lot of focus being drawn to the Crystal Tower, the centerpiece of the whole exposition.
Oh, the Crystal Tower. It's under construction already, I believe. People all over London must be fizzing with excitement at the prospect of such a grand event.
Okay, let's check here. The seat looks reasonably soft, but it's actually rather hard when you sit on it. And only just wide enough for 2 gentlemen to sit side by side, really.
Of course, an English gentlewoman would be dressed in such finery. It would be quite impossible for her to climb to the roof deck, so she would have to be seated in here.
A woman in a kimono would have the same problem. Women's clothes are very impractical, aren't they? The seat has a handle, it seems.
Ah.
This looks like all sorts of equipment that might be needed to keep the omnibus running.
Feeding tubes, tools to repair wheels, blankets, horseshoeing tools. so it's a storage compartment for the coachman to keep his things, it seems. There doesn't seem to be any space for passengers to stow their luggage, that's for sure. Well, I don't imagine it would be very convenient for that purpose anyway. That's quite a large skylight, isn't it? Yes, quite large enough to afford a good view into the cabin from the roof deck. And there doesn't appear to be a handle or any catch of any description, so I suppose it can't be opened from inside the cabin at least.
From the cabin, at least.
That's a poster for the great exhibition that's due to start 6 months from now. There's a lot of focus. Oh, wait, I already said that. Okay, that's same shit. Alright. Have you seen enough? Let's step back outside then.
Do.
Oops. So this is the roof deck of the omnibus. Oh, you must have a wonderful view of London streets from up here. So people sit all the way up here on bitter winter nights with the cold air rushing past them, and they have to pay money to do so? I can't imagine how cold it must feel. That just makes me think of something horrible. Can you imagine being dragged around in the city in the freezing cold as punishment? Perhaps that is the real price you pay to stay out late. Actually, yeah, there could be something under. No, I can't examine it. Okay. Phoenix Wright Omnibus! Oh man, that's quite the Easter egg there. I wonder if you can. No, okay, it's not a highlightable option. Anything to. Anything else to look at? Doesn't look like it. Okay, let's go back inside and double check. Already looked at that. Okay. I think that's everything for the moment.
Let us continue with proceedings then. Your cross-examination, counsel.
Pray don't expect this Nipponese stray to understand the intricacies of a British court's cross-examination rights.
Alright, my first cross-examination in a British court. Focus, Ryunosuke. Focus.
Here we go.
And you saw them through the skylight in the roof of the carriage.
That's right. When you sit atop of the deck.
Wait, no, what's the voice again?
That's right. When you sit up on the top deck, the window's right there at your feet.
Okay, no surprise reaction.
There was a lamp on inside, so I had a pretty good view. The two of them were wearing hats, and I couldn't exactly make out their faces. But there's not a shred of doubt in my mind that it was Mr. McGilded.
How can you be so sure?
Well, how can I put it politely? Mr. McGilded is a gentleman of rather small stature. I couldn't have mistaken him for anyone else.
Let's not forget that when the victim came to a halt, the only people inside the enclosed cabin were the deceased Mr. Mason and Mr. McGilded. There is no room for doubt here.
Ugh, I really wish there was.
Hold it!
You actually saw the exact moment it happened?
Didn't I already testify to that? Are the fair income, hard-working city bankers not considered trustworthy these days?
Oh, no, I didn't mean that. This is no good. I really got his back up. Perhaps you could just tell us what you saw in a little more detail, if that's... Fuck, what did I give his... Fuck, what was his voice again? Oh my god, there's just so many different voices. Oh man, this is definitely a lot more characters in a court setting at once, that's for sure. Definitely a challenge. Why does he have a knife in court? Well, no fucking idea why he has a switchblade. I could make a British joke right now, cause British stabbings, but don't. Seems kind of nonsensical for them to allow that in court.
My lord?
Jury number 3, what is the meaning of this?
My mind is made up, my lord. Completely and utterly made up.
Made up about what?
I don't like the stinking rich. Never have. They always have something... they're always up to something or other that they shouldn't be. Every last one of them. And that little leprechaun of a man is no exception. Well, he can't fool me.
Oh damn, that's quite the system.
There's no point wasting time listening to any more of this. That's my opinion on the matter anyway.
That is precisely what I was about to say.
Oh my god, they're already voting.
As the foreman of the jury, it is my duty to set a good example to my fellow jurors.
They're just launching, what, flaming charcoals on the scale?
What the? What is happening here?
Let me see. Ah yes, it seems that's how the members of the jury give their verdicts.
With fire?
Apparently yes. White for innocent and black for guilty. As 6 members of the jury make up their minds about the case, one by one they each cast a ball of fire into the great scales of justice as we saw moments ago.
So if the enormous scales falls completely to the black side, does that mean...
I do our very best to make sure that doesn't happen.
Ugh, now I'm even more worried than I was before. Very well. The court acknowledges the change in the jury's stance. Counsel for the defense, please continue with your cross-examination.
Ugh, this is a nightmare.
Hold it!
He stabbed him, you say, and you were sitting up on the roof deck, were you?
Yes.
Yes, that's right, sir. I was up on the roof seats. I remember seeing the little gent sitting next to the fellow that was stabbed. I've been thinking about a new hat design, you see, so I was gazing absent-mindedly around. But then I happened to look down through the skylight. It was sticking right out of his belly. That huge great knife.
Huh, a grim sight indeed. Ugh, that didn't help me at all. The jury looked like they're even more convinced my client did it than they were before.
That appears to have made everyone even more dubious that Mr. McGilded is telling the truth. If only we had some evidence to counter their suspicions.
Mr. First,
Yes, sir?
is this the knife you saw?
Oh, good grief, yes. That's it. That's the very one, sir.
Is that?
Yes, counsel. This is the blade that was driven into the victim's belly like a stake through the heart.
That is a blade of considerable size, counsel.
It is. And furthermore, the scabbard is emblazoned with prominently with a certain initial. The letter M, which seems oddly familiar.
Ugh, please. No.
M for Magnus, perhaps, or McGilded, possibly. Take your pick. It seems this particular big name in London made a magnificent mistake.
Objection! Weak slap. But there are M's everywhere. Yes, like in Mason.
Objection!
The blade is far too extravagant for a poor brickmaker to have owned. No, this weapon of murder was almost certainly belongs to the accused.
Ugh.
Her. Not conclusive, but certainly compelling counsel.
Okay.
My lord, if you'll forgive the interruption.
Jury number 2. Go on.
Mr. McGilded is a pillar of society and a gentleman's word should be sacrosanct. However, those of us in service know we must accept hard truths.
Wait, what are you about to do?
Dispose of the rubbish.
Shit. Man. No.
I don't wish to cause offense, but I do like to eradicate all traces of filth and grime.
I have painstakingly typed every word uttered here today and cross-referenced all the facts. As such, I am now in position to draw the only logical conclusion.
I wanna go be jury so I can slam a ball of fire. Yeah, man. Yeah, it's quite the interesting mechanism. You just yeet fire into the scales, like holy shit. Well, it'll definitely be a good thing to have on a winter night, I guess. You'll be toasty warm with all the fire that's going on in the room. Not again.
That's 4 of the 6 jury members who proposed a guilty verdict. There are only 2 left.
We've had it. Every time I press these witnesses for more information, I just make the situation worse.
Nevertheless, what we need more than anything at the moment is some more information. We're still very much in the dark.
I suppose I just have to keep pressing the witnesses, knowing that more sparks may well fly.
We mustn't give up hope that we must uncover something that will give us a way to fight back.
But... Alright, I'll keep trying. I can't give up. I just need to keep calm and listen to the witnesses' statements again.
So far, I haven't seen any exclamation marks of some kind. Okay, let's examine this one.
That part is the sheath, isn't it? Are you alright, Mr. Naruhodo?
Oh, sorry, yes, I just don't really like blades.
Oh. Those don't seem like the words of a man with a large katana slung from his waist.
That's not a blade, that's Cosmo's soul. Anyway, there's no sense in delaying it. Let's see what the blade looks like.
That's definitely bloody.
Ugh, that looks like a lot of blood.
It surely is blood. The victim's.
Ugh, an Englishman's blood looks a lot like a Japanese man's blood.
Did you think it wouldn't?
Sorry, it's just that we've only just arrived here in Great Britain. I'm finding it a little hard to adjust.
Yes, I do understand.
Boy, it's just jam.
An ordinate letter M. Undeniably Mr. Magnus McGilded's initial.
And it's beautifully gilded too. It must be very valuable, I should think. What is it?
Look at this M. If you turn it upside down, it becomes a W. This could change everything.
A W?
Yes, this is one of those, turnabout cases. I'm sure of it.
I'm afraid I don't know at all, but what I'm sure of is that this is an M.
Oh. Well, that day was quickly quashed.
Alright. Anything else to examine? Other than the blood on the tip of the blade?
doesn't look like it.
Hold it!
Inside the cover, it didn't give me the option. Yeah, because I already clicked on the inside of the sheet, so it didn't show me anything. What exactly did you see?
Oh, well, sir, that would be the passenger, sir.
Oh shit, I skipped it on accident. Hold on.
Oh, well, sir, that would be the passenger, sir. Yes, collapsed on the floor he was.
And by the passenger, obviously you are referring to the victim, Mr. Mason, the brickmaker.
And then the other passenger had that knife in his hand, like this.
By the other passenger, obviously you're referring to the accused, Mr. Magnus McGilded.
And then he plunged it down like this, stabbing the other passenger in the belly.
What?
Order! Order! It is hard to believe one of London's greatest philanthropists, but this is damning indeed.
The law knows no philanthropist, my lord, only the innocent and the guilty. Good deeds mean nothing when overshadowed by evil. The truth is everything.
Couldn't agree more, sir. The truth.
Alright, so when it happened, the only two people in the enclosed cabin area were the victim and the defendant. And, so help me, 3 whole people witnessed the man I'm trying to defend do the deed. I'd like to be pessimistic, but we do seem to be in a rather difficult situation here. Ugh! What am I supposed to think here? Is Mr. McGilded really innocent? Or could it be? But before we jump to conclusions, our first task should be to gather information. We need to understand the case much better than we do at the moment. Yes, you're absolutely right. Let's listen to those witness statements again, a little more carefully this time.
Hold it!
Yes, I think it was sometime after 10, wasn't it?
Oh, yes, sir. That's right, sir. Yes. It was so cold. It was, sir, freezing, in fact.
And you had 4 passengers on board at the time, is that correct?
Yes, that's right, sir. Not all traveling in the same parts of the bus, of course. No.
There were no other passengers, and there were no other passengers when the incident took place. No one alighted, for example.
You're quite right with that, sir. No other passengers like that. No. None.
So nobody fled the scene of the crime then?
I have to say, the boss insists on it running. He does. Every evening. That last bust of the day. But I do wonder sometimes if it's altogether worthwhile. Yes, sorry to say.
What do you mean by that?
What with being so cold and everything, and only making 20 pence on the run, you see. Yes, I spent that much at the pub on the way home just to try and warm up again. I just can't believe it, sir. I can't believe it. A murder on my own bus. It's too awful to think about. I haven't been able to shake this cold ever since this happened.
Yeah, okay, still nothing. Man, what voice was yours again?
My lord, I wish to speak.
Yes, jury number 5. Do I take it that you too?
As the matter of the London Guild of Coachmen, the idea of a murder being committed in one of the city's carriages is utterly abhorrent to me. It wouldn't be right to make a decision before hearing all the facts, though, I said to myself. But I've heard enough now. The horse has bolted, as they say.
No, please, just keep it open mind a little longer.
Cheer up now, Silver Blaze. The finish is in sight.
Beppo is a long-standing member of the guild, and I trust what the man says.
Oh, thank you, sir. You're too kind, sir.
Ugh, this is too unkind, sir.
Which now means that 5 jurors agree to condemn this man.
It's just the old granny.
Madam Juror number 6.
Yes, dear. What can I do for you?
You have heard the testimonies of the witness in the stand.
Master's giving Beppo a fireball. Beppo is free. We shall see.
Oh, yes, I certainly have. Still got my hearing, you know.
Then pray tell, why are you yet to pronounce your leaning?
Well, dear, the thing is, I'm a creature of habit, me. I always go to the park at around this time of day and sit on a nice bench and get on with my knitting. There's a lovely little park just near where I live. Miss McGilded Park, it's called. The gentleman donated it to the city, you know. To put the smile on the Londoner's faces, he said. I can't imagine such a fine young gentleman would have had it in him to take another man's life.
He is always doing wonderful things for the city.
That's right. A man like that wouldn't stab someone, surely.
Mother, maybe we go to the McGilded Public Library later and borrow some more books.
How many Londoners live with their heads in the clouds? Do you people not know? What kind of a man Magnus McGilded really is?
What kind of man is he?
The philanthropist Magnus McGilded has enough wealth to purchase the entire city he claims to value so highly. But where did all that wealth come from? Your client is a Shylock, sir, and one with the very darkest of souls.
What?
Stone the crows!
McGilded lends money at extortionate rates of interest, so his victims have no hope of repaying him. When they default, he takes possession of everything they own. He is a vulture that preys on the weak.
I never heard any mention of that before.
Your faculties haven't deserted you, I'm sure, madam. So has this thought not crossed your mind? Would a man wealthy enough to buy London in its entirety not have a carriage of his own? What possible reason could this man have had to make a use of a public omnibus service?
You're not saying that.
The victim, a poor brickmaker, had next to nothing in his name, save considerable financial liability. It will come as no surprise that his creditor was the accused, Magnus McGilded. But let it also be known that the very day Mr. Mason was killed was the final repayment date for his debts.
Good gracious!
The brickmaker was destitute. He had lost his house. He had not a shilling with which to repay his debts. And in the end, this pitiful soul had the very last thing he owned taken from him, his life. By the merciless philanthropist pretender, Magnus McGilded.
I don't believe it. If I might add something briefly, Mrs. Sato. You claim that the victim had been lent money by Mr. McGilded, but where is the evidence to support your claim?
Oh, where did this wine bottle come from? Oh, he's drinking wine in a courtroom. Or is that just grape juice?
Pray forgive the discourtesy of filling my hallowed chalice in a court of law.
Aha! There it is! Lord Von Sieg's hallowed chalice!
How could this be considered acceptable?
But I first but I find myself in an unexpectedly good humor. I had heard ladies from the Far East could show great courage, but I didn't expect to experience it myself.
As a judicial assistant to the defense, I am simply doing my job.
What a pity that your display of courage is in vain. This is the debtor's ledger, which details all monies loaned by the accused. You will find the victim's name clearly recorded inside.
Oh,
Allow me to present this ledger as evidence. And pray forgive the discourtesy of raising my chalice in toast to the enigmatic East at the same time.
A marvelous toast, Consul. I'll gladly accept this new evidence.
Alright, well... 20 guineas, oh man.
Ah yes, 20 guineas. The victims owed a considerable sum.
And the accused made quite certain he had ample recompense.
Well, it would seem I've had the wool pulled over my eyes.
Regrettably, madam, that is the modus operandi of the accused.
And it's such a pretty little park too. What a scoundrel.
Oh shit.
Still, maybe it's all for the best.
Wait a minute. Let's think about this a little more before...
I don't stand for nonsense.
And it's all the way over. God. Oh, fuck. Man, this sucks.
that was it. The last juror's decision.
Any advice, Miss Susato?
According to this encyclopedia of British law, when all members of the jury have concluded that the defendant is guilty, court proceedings are suspended, and the presiding judge will deliver the final verdict and sentence.
God fucking damn it.
That's what it says here.
The final verdict. It's over then.
Oh,
What? What is it? Tell me. Tell me!
there's a footnote though.
A footnote?
However, the defense...
No, tell me! Ah, shit.
All 6 members of the jury are now in agreement in this case.
Allow me to convey my respect for your swift and righteous decision.
According to the laws of this country, I will now conclude the trial by delivering my final verdict. I trust there are no objections.
Miss Susato, just tell me one thing.
Oh, yes?
You were in the middle of saying something before. The footnote in your Encyclopedia of British Law. However, the defense... What did it say next?
Oh, yes, of course. One moment. When all members of the jury have concluded that the defendant is guilty, the court proceedings are suspended, and the presiding judge will deliver the final verdict and sentence. Then the footnote says, however, the defense has the right to demand a summation examination of the jurors at this point.
Summation? Examination?
Objection!
A summation examination. From which century has that tome you have there been resurrected? Judging from the binding, I would say that book is at least 50 years old. Any modern text on British law wouldn't even give such an antiquated procedure a mention. It's a relic, long forgotten and certainly no longer practiced. So you're out of luck.
Oh,
What even is it, Mr. Susato? This so-called summation examination.
one moment, and I'll read about it.
You would demand the right to a procedure before you even understand what it entails. Typical Nipponese.
Alright, Mr. Naruhodo, I think I understand. It seems that under this procedure, we would be able to appeal to the members of the jury. To do what, exactly? Appeal to them to change their leaning and reverse their decisions. And it says here that, if successful, the proceedings of the trial must be resumed. Make them reverse their decisions?
Yes, in times gone by, barristers would use a summation examination to attempt to influence the jury's decision. But that procedure became something of a formality with no practical benefit, really, so it rather fell out of use.
I wonder why.
Because it was devoid of purpose. Changing just one member of the jury's mind would be hard enough, let alone several. No self-respecting defense barrister would even assert his right to try in this day and age.
Still, I don't see any mention of the procedure actually being formally revoked.
What are you suggesting?
I'm suggesting that although it may be antiquated and largely forgotten, it isn't yet extinct. What do you think, Mr. Naruhodo? A summation examination. Our last possible option. Do we assert our right to carry it out or admit defeat? Let's admit defeat and lose this case. Nah, assert our right. The defense wishes to assert its right to a summation examination, my lord.
Objection!
London is the capital city of the most powerful nation on earth. We have a duty to the world to exemplify the very highest standards of judicial procedure. Summation examinations are an embarrassment that should remain buried.
Objection!
But if it's our right, it's our right. I believe we could prove it. It could prove vital in this trial. Nah, forget it. Accept defeat. Let's just lose. Get this man killed.
The defense's petition is perfectly valid. The court will proceed with the summation examination.
This is madness.
Foreman, are you and the remainder of the jury ready? I'm not, there was no mention of this in the letter I received, you see, so, all members of the jury will be asked to explain on what grounds they have reached a decision. On what grounds? You must all justify your decisions and explain why you believe the defendant to be guilty. My lord, you're rather putting us on the spot.
This is most irregular. No mention was made of this before.
I don't really hold it all with this justifying lock.
That seems to have thrown the jurors off. It seems none of them have experienced this before. Well, this is probably a long-forgotten practice. Alright then, the summation examination. A defense procedure no practicing lawyer has attempted for years, is it? Well, just maybe. It might be the opportunity we've been looking for. To turn this trial around. And for probably for a number of future cases, we're probably gonna spam the shit out of this right. This is probably the one mechanic in British law that we're probably going to be exploiting practically every single British trial. I just imagine it now. We're just backed up again and we're like, okay, well, nah, I'll summation examination. It's like, oh shit, I'm, oh, can confirm, really? Is that literally what, is that literally every single trial in this game in the British courtroom? It's like, oh, well, we're backed up, summation examination it is. Now, we'll summation examination, Your Honor. Oh my god. It's gonna be, if that's the case, that's gonna be comical.
So be it then, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. The court hereby calls upon you to state the grounds on which you find the defendant Magnus McGilden guilty of this most serious crime.
Something tells me we're gonna be doing this a lot.
Judicial findings.
Oh yeah, we're definitely gonna be doing this a lot.
The jurors' contentions. There was no one else inside the carriage at the time, so it has to have been him.
I trust the driver. He has an excellent memory, it seems. 4 passengers with fares totaling 20 pence.
He stacked the chap next to him just like this. Brazen, I must say. Absolutely brazen.
I have simply typed and collated all the statements made thus far and drawn the logical conclusion.
You can trust the guild. Fair fares is our motto. We haven't raised the prices above 4 pence for years.
The scoundrel! Stabbing the poor man on the floor! It beggars belief!
How the fuck do we do this one? I'm starting to wish I hadn't pushed for this now. Some of the jurors don't seem to have wonderfully formed arguments though, do they? Well, let's see what we can do. We need to get 6 people to change their minds. These 6 people to change their minds. All 6 of them? I have to throw everything I can at them. And use some very persuasive language. Just a moment, Mr. Naruhodo. Contradict them? Well, that's part of it, but at the same time, they're using very vague arguments, so it may be tricky. According to my book, that's not quite how it works. Oh? I thought I was gonna have them thaw their icy minds with some heartwarming rhetoric about the defendant. Or just give them candy. Unfortunately, once the jurors have decided the defendant is guilty, they're unlikely to heed anything the defense says. But then, they've reached their conclusions by their own reasoning, you see. Your pleas will sound like excuses. In fact, they could recoil on you. The more you try to persuade them, the more entrenched they may become. Then what on earth am I supposed to do? Oh dear, I'm just citing what I read about the British law. Read about British law, Mr. Naruhodo. Right, I'm sorry. Do you have any idea how to make this work then? Well, from what I can understand, the key to this procedure is using the jurors' own words to make your arguments. I thought bro slapped her for a moment. Yeah, the screen shake does kind of give that impression. Yeah, yeah. What do you mean? Well, the 6 members of the jury are randomly selected members of the public. They may appear to present a united front, but the truth is, they are complete strangers who just happen to find themselves here in the courtroom together. And that's the way to break them down, you mean? Yes, exactly. We must listen very carefully to what each member of the jury says, and see if we can identify any contradictory statements. If we can, then we contrast their statements and pit the corresponding jurors against each other. I see. So it's contradictions in what 2 or more jurors say about that we're looking for. In a way then, this is similar to a regular cross-examination. Oh, yes, I suppose you're right. Find contradictions in their statements, and pit the jurors against one another to break them down. Alright, I might be able to pull this off. No, that's not right. Double slap. I have to pull this off. Oh, we're doing double slapping.
Can we start proceedings, counsel? I would ask you to take the stand for this. I'm expecting a clear and conscious rebuttal.
Yes, my lord.
Jury examination. The defense's rebuttal.
Pit present court record. Oh my god. This is gonna be interesting. There was no one else inside the carriage at the time, okay?
Hold it!
Certainly. The testimonies we've heard suggest the victim and Mr. McGilder were alone inside the carriage.
Precisely my point.
But could there be some other explanation? Something we haven't considered yet?
Such as?
Perhaps that's something we could, all work out together now?
Now listen here. Maybe you don't know how things work around here because you're from foreign climes, but we're here to inform our opinions as individuals, and I have. Ugh.
Oh dear, he doesn't appear to be in the mood to consider an alternative point of view, does he? No, I'm going to have to pit the jurors against one another, like Susato-san said. Finding contradictions in these 6 people's assertions is the only way I'm going to succeed.
Hold it!
But does his ability to recall his takings that night really tell us how trustworthy the man is? I manage all his lordship's cash affairs, so I'm very particular when it comes to accounts. I see. A single penny can mean the difference between life and death after all, can it? Can't it?
That's a saying in your country?
My point is, a man who minds his figures is a man you can trust. All of us in service would swear to that, sir.
Does that bench really need any more polishing?
So if the good driver says that he saw Mr. McGilden in the act, I don't doubt him. The only task left to do today is disposing of the rubbish.
Now wait a minute. One of those other jurors mentioned something about money, I think.
Now that would be a very good time to listen to the jurors' statements again, Mr. Naruhodo. If you notice an inconsistency in what the two different jurors are saying.
I should expose it by pitting them against each other. Yes, let's see if I can do just that. No, I want to go back. No, I want to go back. Oh, fuck. How do I... Okay, I need to press A. Okay. Okay.
Hold it!
Careful, you could hurt somebody with that.
Tisk, you're a fine one to talk. What of the sword hanging from your waist,
Who's a flying angel? Oh, he is a former VR chat roleplay buddy I have. Yep. He and I used to roleplay in a VR chat roleplay called the Black Wolves Rebellion. Yes, he plays NPCs while I play a player character. And yeah, he tends to have funny bits in the roleplay. But yeah, it's been a while since then.
No, that's just my battered soul. And anyway, I despise anyone with too much money. They're all the same, all stabbing some brickmaker or some other behind the scenes. You mark my words.
Objection!
That seems very unlikely, doesn't it?
Are you mad, man? We know that small shorty is a rotten Shylock.
Well, yes, that does seem to be the case, but
Mr. Naruhodo, please be careful what you say.
If he's been trying to squeeze money out of us less fortunate, then as far as I'm concerned, he's as guilty as sin. The man couldn't hang.
come to think of it, didn't one of the other jurors have something to say about the defendant's underhanded activities?
If you thought of something, Mr. Naruhodo, don't let it go. Test your theory.
But the two jurors whose statements seem to be contradictory against each other. A time like the present to use R to pit them against each other. I'll never get anywhere. That poor man on the floor. Okay. Yeah, Granny and the knife dude, yeah.
Objection!
Those two statements are completely contradictory.
What? Explain, counsel. Post haste. Oh, dearie me. I was only knitting a jumper for my other half. What is all this claptrap? What does contradictory even mean, I ask you?
We've heard from more than one witness that they allegedly saw the actual moment when the defendant stabbed the victim. Now, out of curiosity, juror number 3.
What? Can't you see I'm busy here?
How would you say the defendant stabbed the victim? What sort of motion was it?
Ha! Want to test me, do you? It was like this. Struck the fellow next to him without even getting up. Just like the prim banker said.
Yes, that was Mr. Fairplay's testimony. Quite true.
Now then, juror number 6.
Oh, is that me, is it? Oh, what can I do for you, young man?
How would you say the defendant stabbed the victim, madam?
Oh, well, dear, as far as I understand, it was like this. He stabbed the poor man after he'd collapsed on the floor. The coachman said so.
Now don't move. Take a look at these two jurors. He stuck the fellow right next to him without even getting up. And he stabbed the poor man after he collapsed on the floor.
Well, I never. They're stabbing in totally different directions.
What? Bless my stitches! What a muddle!
What this tells us is that there's a strong possibility one of the witnesses isn't telling the truth.
Oh. But why? Why the dickens would they lie?
I don't know that yet, but what I do know is that if the trial ends at this point, we may never find out. We may never know the real truth. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, can you really let that happen in all good conscience?
Lies, you say? Oh, dearie me. I can't abide people telling lies.
Oh, that's a white.
The scales.
I don't believe it. Wait! Now hear this, my fellow jurors. I've warned you. You cannot listen to this man. Look at him in his black suit. He's clearly some devious Eastern sorcerer using magic on us all.
If I could use magic, do you really think I'd be putting myself through all this?
Answer me, Doc Jinx.
Huh? Me?
What exactly is the problem? What if the two witnesses had slightly different recollections of events?
What of it?
Let's say the Charlotte did stab the victim as he was sat next to the victim on the next to him on the omnibus, and this young dandy saw him do it. And now let's just say the victim collapsed on the floor, and then the Sherlock stabbed him again, and this old lady saw him do it. Well, what's to say that didn't happen like that,
Who are you calling dandy, sir? Why should I take this knife to you? Who are you calling old? Why I should take this needle to you?
Ugh, they're ready to kill each other now. But could the foreman of the jury be right? Did the two witnesses see two different moments of the same crime? It's out of the question, it's possible. They were both watching from the skylight. Well, I guess if one was sitting at the back and one was sitting at the front, they could have different perspectives. Yeah, there would also be blood on the floor. The guy gets stabbed twice. Well, according to the autopsy report, he died from internal hemorrhaging from one stab. Yeah, in that case, I don't think... I think it might be possible. It's true. There's an outside chance almost anything you could care to mention.
Exactly the point I've been trying to make.
Before you go any further, Mr. Naruhodo,
Oh, what is it, Mr. Susato?
I think you should have a look through the court record.
Ah,
You see, this evidence makes it quite clear. There isn't even an outside chance of what the jury is saying.
how did I miss that? Oh, wait, Unfortunately, Mr. Foreman.
What is it, you Dawkins? Come on, out with it.
What you're suggesting is impossible. It's out of the question.
What? What are you talking about, man? How could you possibly say that? You do realize I'm only doing my job. As a foreman of the jury, I have a foreman to steer everyone in the right direction. So where's your evidence, man? That's what I want to see. Say the two witnesses saw two different moments of the same crime. Would you say that's out of the question? Show me some proof.
It looks like the only way I'm going to convince him is to present him with something he can't dismiss. Some irrefutable hard evidence, as you wish.
What?
I'll give you the proof. It's out of the question that the two witnesses saw the two different moments of the same crime. As proven by
examine my evidence. Oh yeah, I haven't looked at this yet.
This portfolio must contain all sorts of secrets of London's gentry.
Oh dear, do you really think we ought to look inside?
Well, it's not as though we may know of any London's gentry personally, is it? Apart from our great detective friend, perhaps. Actually, I wonder.
I assure you, we will not find Mr. Sholmes' name inside.
Well, let's see what we find.
Gosh, it's crammed full of gentlemen's names, isn't it?
Well, I suppose they're probably not all gentlemen at all, are they? After all, not everyone in this country is well off.
Ah, goodness.
What is it?
Look at this. Do you see the name here?
Bruce Fairplay. Should that mean something to me? It does sound strangely familiar, actually.
Bruce Fairplay, the witness testifying at this very moment.
Oh yes, of course, the banker. Why is his name in here? Ah, he borrowed 20 guineas, did he? And look, the repayment date is fast approaching.
It's possible that this is just a coincidence, of course, but this could be very useful information.
Ah. Alright, let's take a lookie. Let's examine this again, okay. You can certainly see the inside of the carriage through this opening, that's for sure.
Yes, and there's a lamp in the enclosed cabin, so I'm sure the witness would have been able to see quite clearly.
That's not good for us. I think we just present this.
Take that!
This is clear piece of evidence. Well, Mr. Foreman? No, it's not. Do you know what they say about me, young man? They say I've got no powers of persuasion. Oh, I see. I'm sorry to hear that. But no one will need persuading about this. You're even worse than me. Ah!
Okay, never mind. That's not the fucking evidence. Do it for a moment, in other words. The victim was stabbed 2 times.
Oh, the autopsy report. Never mind. Oh, I didn't know that's what they were trying to say. Okay. I thought it was just a matter of perspective. Okay, no. They're trying to say they got stabbed twice. Okay, I see.
Take that!
There we go. This is the victim's autopsy report. According to what's written here, Mr. Mason was stabbed in the abdomen. Only once. Only once? It's quite simple. The victim was stabbed precisely 1 time. Which makes these witnesses can't possibly have seen it happen 2 different times.
Alright, I can see defeat.
Thank you, gentlemen. Or chap.
Oh, well done, Mr. Naruhodo. You did it.
If we can manage to change 2 more jurors' minds.
We can force the trial to continue.
2 more. Actually. There is something else that's bothering me about a couple of their assertions.
Then that's where you must strike next.
So I need to pit 2 more jurors against each other and show there's another contradiction in their assertions.
Exactly. You can do it.
Well, the scales of justice have shifted, but they still weigh heavily on the side of guilt. Counsel, you have the floor again. Continue with your summation examination.
Hold it!
What have you been doing all this time?
What have you been doing all this time? There. I should have thought it was obvious. I'm recording everything that takes place as a part of these proceedings.
And what have you learned from that?
For example, at this moment in time, the judge has used his gavel 11 times in total. The prosecution has snorted derisively at your remarks 7 times in total. And I might add, each time you have gulped like a simpleton.
Thank you. What's the point exactly?
So anyway, madam, are you able to explain why you think the defendant is guilty?
That is a conclusion I've drawn as a result of copious notes I have typed.
Clearly, but I'm asking you to explain why you've drawn that conclusion.
Please don't distract me. It makes it extremely hard to concentrate on my note-keeping.
This is going nowhere. We haven't raised prices above 4 pence for years. Ah, yep, there's a contradiction right there. Because she said it's 20 pence total. Yeah, because if it's 4 pence each, then... if it was only 4 people, it would have been 16 pence. But this might suggest there might be a 5th person and a 5th passenger. There we go.
Objection!
Those two statements clearly contradict each other.
They do? Explain yourself, counsel.
Me? Oh dear, what have I said?
I swear on the Silver Blaze's name, I haven't the first idea what you're talking about.
According to the group testimony we've heard so far, there were 4 passengers on the omnibus on the night in question, and according to the coachman, Mr. Beppo, he took 20 pence in fares.
Quite right. I have those precise details typed neatly here in front of me.
And juror number 5 also told us the following. The fare for the omnibus is always 4 pence.
That's it. A very convenient single price. Just the way London carriages should be operated.
But that doesn't add up at all. In fact, it leaves a glaring discrepancy in the facts.
Why, man? Why?
4 passengers pay 4 pence each. If you do the multiplication... Ah! It would be 16 pence. Exactly. As I said, it doesn't add up. The figures are different. By 4 pence, in fact. Or precisely 1 person's fare.
1 person's fare?
Yes. In other words, on the omnibus that night, it's distinctly possible there was another passenger we've heard nothing about.
Good gracious. This can't be right. The coachmen are good, honest men, one and all. Trustworthiness is our watchword.
The figures your coachman claims most certainly do not add up. Your watchword is good, is a fallacy.
I beg your pardon?
Mr. Guildmaster, I think you ought to consider that if this trial were to end now, the news will surely spread all over London. The news that one of your coachmen tried to hide the fact that he let nefarious characters ride his omnibus.
Alright then, how do I make it so this miserable trial doesn't end,
Well, according to my book here, you simply launch a ball of fire into the innocent side of the set of scales.
Now hold your horses there, coachman. We're all in agreement. Why do you have to go and... Wait till I get my hands on you, Beppo!
Oh man, yeah, today's not a good day for Beppo.
That's all very irritating.
Begging your pardon, sir. I'm going to do the same.
Ha! For the love of Mike, not you as well.
A penny can be the difference between a smile and a tear, after all. I certainly can't put my trust in someone who doesn't follow my exacting standards in the financial matters.
Oh, really?
I, for one, think it's proper that we hear from the witnesses again. Oh shit. Wait, that means... forgers are now leading to not guilty. We've done it, Mr. Naruhodo. We've won!
What are you playing at, you dandy fool?
Shut your trap, sir. No one deceives me.
But we had a consensus.
I said such a trap. I know a liar when I see one. And if the chap ever dares to cross the threshold of my shop, I'll take this razor-sharp blade and shave every last hair off his head.
Please tell me he's a barber.
Well, in a quite remarkable turn of events, the defense's summation examination has flipped the balance of the scales of justice. The jurors now stand at 2 for guilty and 4 for not guilty. Accordingly, there is no longer a large enough majority among the jury for me to abdicate, and the trial must continue. I hereby ask the defense, prosecution, and witnesses to return to their places. And I call upon all of you to continue to pursue the truth. So, Lord Von Zieks, continue to substantiate the case for the prosecution, if you please.
Oh damn. Having savored the rich aroma of the carmine contents of this hallowed chalice, it may seem crass to crush it to dust. Pray forgive the discourtesy.
Lord Von Zieks?
Is it cold in here or is it just me?
As your antiquated tome no doubt says, the prosecution may not speak during the summation examination, so I honor the deathly silence and listen to the charade. It seems I overestimated the intelligence of the jury. Well, no matter. There is nothing hard to prove as a self-evident truth, it would seem.
I serve to only break my chalice. Yeah.
No, and why else would we grace the courtroom with our presence at all? So, let us proceed to the next round of battle. Bring forth the witnesses once more. Witnesses, I trust you heard the summation examination we just had to endure.
Oh, yes, sir. That I did, sir. Of course I heard it.
Oh, yes, sir, I heard it.
You, on the other end, the coachman, I believe it's Beppo.
Yes, sir, my lord, sir.
If it transpires that in your previous testimony, you were attempting to veil the presence of a 5th passenger on your omnibus, you will be found guilty of perjury. You are advised to bear that in mind, sir.
Oh mio Dio,
Now then, witnesses, I hereby call on you to testify before the court again. You will explain the various misgivings brought to our attention by the defense's summation examination.
Witness testimony. Well, witness questioning, sorry. I'm used to witness testimony. Various misgivings.
I only carried 4 passages that night. I swear it. But
Well, I, for one, was told I had to pay 5 pence for the bus.
He filled on the fare, he did, and then I saw that blood-curdling sight as well. It's all too much.
I tell you, I saw Miss Gilded stabbing that man. Everything I said before stands.
Oh, yes, he stabbed him. Yes, he did. I think so, yes.
Counsel, make sense of this for me, please.
The phantom 5th passenger conjured into existence by my learned Eastern friend never existed. The confusion has arisen from the coachman's sly little cozenage.
Beppo, explain yourself.
I'm terribly sorry, Guildmaster.
The guild's fare is 4 pence across the board. You should know that. Am I to understand that you've been overcharging your passengers by a penny in the fare?
It's so cold, and the last run of the day is always half empty.
You have been dishonest, coachman.
I'm sorry.
You're a disgrace, Beppo, a disgrace! And your selfish actions have brought dishonor on the entire guild.
If I may, sir, I had to pay 10 pence on the bus just last week.
What?
4 passengers had 5 pence each is, yes, 20 pence. I've done the arithmetic 10 times already, but I just can't make the result come out differently.
No, that figures.
Man, Beppo's a fucking scam artist. He's been scamming people.
Well, it would appear that one of the aforementioned misgivings has already been explained. So, counsel for the defense, your cross-examination if you please.
We've already had the pleasure of a protracted summation examination today. I see you intend to continue the parlor games.
Absolutely. I mean, we're going to prove that, yeah, there was a 5th passenger who paid and somehow convinced little old Beppo over there to keep quiet about him. Well, we know this guy's in debt to the guy.
Hold it!
So you saw the defendant, Mr. McGildet, stabbing the victim, Mr. Mason, who was sitting next to him.
That's what I said, isn't it?
It was bothering him before, this was. For just a brief moment, he hesitated before answering the question.
Anyway, there was only 2 of them inside the carriage, wasn't there?
There's been much talk of a 5th passenger, but as yet, 0 evidence.
Then what are we wasting all this time for, eh? It's black and white. The man's guilty.
Something about Mr. Fairplay's testimony just jars with me. I wish I could work out what it was. I think I present the book? Oh, let me double check. Oops, nope. Go back.
Hold it!
Does that mean everyone on board that night paid 5 pence instead of 4?
Well, I paid 5 pence too, sir.
And I just told you that I did.
A flat fare of 5 pence across the board.
It's not something to be proud of.
The so-called discrepancy my learned friend identified was nothing of the sort. Much like the phantom killer you so desperately needed, it's gone, dead and buried.
I'd have been happy if it had ever existed in the first place.
Hold it!
This blood-curdling sight. You mean the murder, I presume?
Yes, sir.
A loathsome sight. No one should have to witness the horror in the eyes of a man the moment that his life is taken.
Oh, well, not exactly, sir. I mean, I didn't actually see the exact moment the gent was stabbed.
Good gracious, really?
We have another witness who did, however. The banker has already testified to it.
But Mr. First didn't actually see the point at which the victim was killed. That may turn out to be a very significant.
I heard the banker gent next to me take a sharp intake of a breath, see? That's when I looked through the glass. That's when I saw that horrible blade poking out from his belly, all covered in blood. Every time I see that knife now, I can't help screaming everyone I'm eating.
Wait, hold on. Yeah, no, okay. I think I just present here.
Objection!
Oh no, the music's full. Nah, shit, no. Okay, never mind. No. Skip. No. Yeah, I get it. I lose a point. Yeah.
Earlier you testified that you saw the moment when the defendant allegedly stabbed the victim, didn't you?
Oh, yes, that's right.
You said that the victim was on the floor and described the assailant holding the knife in a nice big grip.
I suppose. I might have, yes. But to the cart before the horse, maybe.
What's this?
Well, I'm quite sure about most of it. I was driving the horses when I heard a scream from the seat of the roof deck.
Oh, I expect that was me, sir.
Then when I turned around, yes, I saw through the skylight. The gentleman was on the floor and the knife was sticking out of his midriff.
Oh, yep. Night Snappy.
That's right, yes, and the fellow holding the handle was the famous man, yes.
So in short, you didn't see the moment when the victim was actually stabbing into a hole.
I really thought I did, but when I go over again in my head, no, I suppose I didn't actually see the precise moment of the stabbing, did.
Oh. There we go. Excuse me. Do you have something to say about that, Mr. Fairplay?
Now you listen to me. I know what you're thinking. He didn't really see the exact moment the fellow was stabbed. What are the chances of that? Eh?
Are you asking me or telling me? He's getting flustered. I might be able to extract some new information from him if I answer him cleverly. Could he have just happened to see the exact moment the crime was committed? No. Well, it is a little hard to believe, certainly. Unless you spend your time peeping through a skylight on the top of an omnibus, that is.
Peeping? I'm a respectable city banker, I'll have you know. And I know what I saw. I remember it as clear as a Ballarat day. It was a grim scene. I don't mind telling you. Thank you, Mr. Fairplay. Oh, excuse me, I was getting a little hard under the collar there, my lord. I would ask you to supplement your testimony with a clear statement about exactly what you saw. Oh, I can do that, alright. I can tell you just how grim it was.
Ah, there we go. There's our contradiction. I just needed to press them a bit more. I just need to press things a bit more.
Objection!
There we go. I just have to peel away a bit more layers until I get to the part. Alright. Blood-soaked hands.
Well, I admit that soaked might be laying it on a little thick, but anyway, there was definitely blood all over them. Both of them were covered in it.
Well, I'm very sorry to disagree, Mr. Fairplay, but that's more than a little peculiar.
What?
Here are the gloves worn by the defendant, Mr. McGilded, on the night in question.
Oh, yes, right.
And there certainly does appear to be a sizable dark-colored stain there, but, as I'm sure you can clearly see, it's only on the right-handed glove. In short, Mr. Fairplay, your testimony is inconsistent.
But no, that can't be right. So you're the liar, then. That's right, you were quite clear about it. You said it was both hands.
Mr. Fairplay, if your last statement was a lie, it calls your entire testimony into question. You say you saw the moment the victim was stabbed, but is that really the truth?
Objection!
It was a simple mistake. You can't justify accusing this man of lying. Yes, it was in both hands. It was only one, but the fact remains. The victim's blood was on the accused.
Objection!
No, Mr. Fairplay categorically stated that he saw blood all over both hands, which means there's a strong possibility that this witness was deliberately trying to mislead the court.
Ah! Why, I'm a city banker, for pity's sake. My word should be the golden standard. I'm a gentleman, not some gutter snipe. Upstanding member of the society, don't prevaricate.
He's claiming to have no reason to lie, but is that really the case?
Mr. Naruhodo, if we had some evidence to explain why Mr. Fairplay might be lying, it could turn the tide in this trial completely.
Oh, yeah, okay, that's when we present that, okay. So let's show this man has a compelling reason to lie in his testimony. I have evidence. My lord.
Yes, counsel?
The defense is ready to present evidence.
By Jove, are you sure?
Yes, evidence that will clearly demonstrate why Mr. Fairplay had a reason to lie in his testimony.
Ah!
Very well. I hereby call upon the defense to present its evidence. The evidence that demonstrates the motive for the witness's alleged deception of the court.
And that's when we present this.
Take that!
This is a list of the debtors who owed money to Mr. McGilded.
Yes, a list of innocent victims crippled by the accused's extortion.
The point is, among the names of the debtors is your name, Mr. Bruce Fairplay. Mr. Bruce Fairplay.
What? Mr. Fairplay, are you currently indebted financially to the accused?
No, well, it's barely worthy of being called a debt.
According to this ledger, you're owed 20 guineas, not an inconsiderable amount of money. Inconsiderable sum of money, wouldn't you say?
Oh, well, what of it? Well, what of it?
Let's suppose Mr. McGilder were to be found guilty of murder. What would become of your debt in that case?
These documents state that the loan agreement is forged between two individual parties. Therefore, for the creditor, the defendant here, to be sentenced to a capital punishment. All outstanding debts which were owed to him would be annulled. They would cease to exist.
Cease to exist?
Mr. Fairplay, is it not the case that you claimed in your testimony to have seen something you never in fact saw, in a devious attempt to annul your debt of 20 guineas to the defendant?
Order! Mr. Bruce Fairplay!
Yes, my lord.
Let me ask you again, and be aware that your answer may have most serious implications upon your future, sir. Did you or did you not see the precise moment in time at which the defendant is alleged to have thrust a knife into the victim?
Your silence speaks volumes. You did not tell the truth in your testimony.
Alright, now let's not make a melodrama out of this. Perhaps I did overstate the truth a pinch.
A pinch?
But it makes no difference. I definitely remember seeing blood on Mr. McGilder's hands, both of them.
Objection!
And yet only one of the defendant's gloves, which we have here as evidence, is stained.
So you keep saying.
I wonder if I might be allowed to speak, sir.
Go ahead, Mr. First.
Well, the thing is, I think I remember seeing it myself as it happens.
Seeing what?
The blood, sir, on the assailant's hands. I think, yes. I'm almost sure that it was on. I'm almost sure that it was on both of his hands, not just one.
What? What?
It would appear that we're going to need further testimony from all you witnesses. This time, I would like to know precisely what you did and what you did not see. Do I make myself perfectly clear?
Yeah.
Mr. Naruhodo, this is good news. The course of the trial seems to have shifted slightly at last.
Yes. I might finally have a chance to turn things around here. What? Oh, it does say witness testimony, okay.
What the witnesses really saw. There was blood on both hands of the assailant. I sincerely and distinctly remember that. However, I suppose you might say that I didn't see the exact moment the stabbing transpired, if that matters.
I remember seeing the knife, and I remember seeing both of the attacker's hands with blood on them.
I didn't actually see anything myself, no. Not until I heard that scream. Anyway, the fact remains, there can't have been anyone else inside that carriage, or we would have seen.
Well, lo and behold, in truth of fact, not one of you was witness to the crucial moment that the crime was perpetrated.
I apologize, my lord, but honestly, there was no one else inside that carriage, and that man's hands was covered in blood. That much incriminating evidence is a tantamount to saying that we saw the man do it.
That's not what the testimony is about.
Let us examine the interior of the omnibus once more. The victim's fresh blood is clearly visible on the seat, corroborating the witnesses' accounts. In other words, there is no substantial nor significant change in the facts of the case.
Very well. Your cross-examination, please, counsel.
Yes, my lord. Who is Jam? Jam? What do you mean Jam? Okay. Let me take a closer look at this again. Yeah, because my theory is there was a person hiding in here. Well, they have to take everything out before they go inside, though, so,
Hold it!
No, the evidence tells us otherwise. We have the gloves of the defendant was wearing on the night in question in the court record.
I'm well aware of that, sir, but nevertheless, I do know what I saw and I stand by it. The man had blood on both of his hands.
He's defiant, even in the face of hard evidence. He's steadfastly refusing to admit that he might be mistaken about what he saw. But why?
Your reasoning is dire. One hand or two, the salient point remains unchanged. Minutes after the grim crime, the victim's blood dripped guiltily from the accused's fingers.
You definitely saw that too. Blood on both hands?
Yes, sir. I mean, I know what you're going to say. Well, only one of Mr. McGilda's gloves has any signs of blood on it.
That's right.
The thing is, as far as I remember, sir, when I looked down and saw Mr. McGilda sitting beside the other fellow, I don't believe he was wearing any gloves, sir.
He wasn't wearing these gloves?
That's correct, sir. And I saw the blood on both of his bare hands quite clearly.
It's true that the dark-colored stain on the dark leather gloves wouldn't have been easy to see.
I should point out that the police officer who apprehended the accused on the night in question reported that there was no trace on Mr. McGilda's gloved hands.
There wasn't blood on his hands?
This is puzzling indeed.
This must be significant somehow, I'm sure of it. both of his bare hands.
Hold it!
And everything you saw on the day of the incident was through the skylight on the roof of the omnibus.
That's right. It was fiercely cold that night, but the glass wasn't frosted over.
Oh yes, I remember I was shivering. It was so bitter.
Which rather begs the question why the pair of you were sitting on the roof deck in the first place. Well, I don't know about this young fellow, but I couldn't enter the cabin.
Oh? Why not?
It was locked from the inside. I tried knocking, but no one opened the door.
It was locked?
That's right. It's a public bus service, for pity's sake. That's not what I call fair play.
Yes, I had the exact same experience. I tried knocking, but the gent inside just gestured at me to clear off. So I had no choice but to climb up on the roof deck and look down longingly from the warm cabin below into the warm cabin below.
Well, I can assure you, I wasn't just looking down. I was glaring long and hard. And that's precisely why I can't tell you with absolute confidence that if there was anyone else at all in the cabin, I would have noticed.
Unequivocal, I would say.
I'm not sure about these two witnesses, but they really have seen everything inside the cabin through the skylight.
Let me double check.
I don't think so. Because they didn't see the face of the individual, so... Allow me to confirm one thing, Mr. Fairplay. You were riding this omnibus, and witnessed the events in the cabin through the skylight on the floor on the upper deck, is that right?
That's right, yes.
In that case, there is a portion of the cabin interior that would have been out of sight from you.
What?
By golly, really?
Obviously, at this stage, we can't say for sure. But the possibility cannot be denied. At the time of the incident, there could have been another passenger in the enclosed cabin of the omnibus.
Objection!
Enough hypothetical meandering, my Nepalese friend. The prosecution demands that you substantiate your claims. After all, the scene of the crime is here, in the flesh.
Very well, I will uphold the prosecution's demand. You will identify the area of this cross-section plan of the omnibus. Where exactly in the omnibus are you suggesting that the potentially extra passenger could have been situated?
Which one's the handle one?
Well, let me double check.
It's on the right side, isn't it? Yeah.
Take that!
Both rows of seats on the roof face in the direction of the travel, whereas the seats in the enclosed cabin face each other, which means the visible part of the cabin, which passengers on the roof deck can see through the skylight, is as I've drawn here.
Ah,
that's right, my lord. As you can see, the seat opposite of the one which the victim and his attacker were sitting is obscured from view. In other words, if someone had been sitting on that seat, it's quite possible that these witnesses would have been completely unaware of it.
Gah!
It's quite possible some phantom was sitting there. Your Nibonese have a forbidding habit of obscuring the truth with ambiguity.
I concur with the prosecution's rejoinder. In a British court of law, evidence is paramount. I cannot entertain this conjecture, counsel. That is, unless you're able to put a name to this mysterious passenger to whom you allude.
Can you, Mr. Naruhodo?
I honestly don't know. Who could have been? Who could have been in the other seat, which was out of sight from the witnesses on the roof deck?
No! Fuck! No, that was too soon. Oh, god damn it. I understand, my lord. The defense would like to put forward a name.
You are a fool. The response was a desperate attempt by a man who has no notion of—
No, I hit the button on accident. God damn it.
A toast to hard lessons not yet learned.
Oh, come on. Oh my god. No, I accidentally hit the button. Oh, for fuck's sake. This could be it. This could be the chance of it. Okay. Don't do it again. Jesus Christ. On that night. On the night of the murder. The person occupying the seat on the omnibus that was obscured from the view was... Now he's already confirmed these two are on the seat. Cannot be that guy because he's literally driving the cart. I guess our argument is Magnus was the one sitting in the obscured area, so that he wasn't there.
Take that!
Yeah. The passenger in the enclosed cabin that the witness on the roof deck failed to see has had to have been Mr. Magnus McGilded.
Mr. McGilded?
What are you talking about, counsel? What? That's the name of the defendant!
Objection!
Oh damn. Throw it right into the flames. If I desecrate this chamber by smashing my hallowed chalice, do forgive the discourtesy.
Lord Van Zeeks!
People talk of those tiny island nations in the Far East as having a learning and culture of their own. But I see they use the terms ill-advisedly.
What are you trying to say?
Let me explain in terms that even a student of an artless backwater such as yourself might understand. When the bloody scene unfolded, the victim and his assailant were sitting side by side. Multiple witnesses have attested to the fact. It's the very premise on which this case is built.
Objection!
But what that premise may be wrong.
What?
If the victim really was sitting beside Mr. McGilded, it creates an inconsistency that can't be reconciled in any way.
What inconsistency, counsel?
The defendant's glove, my lord. Both witnesses made the same testimony. They claim that there was blood on both hands of the person sitting next to the victim.
Objection!
Yet we know the truth to be otherwise. Only one glove bears the gory remains.
Objection!
The point is, even in the face of this irrefutable evidence, both witnesses have maintained both their stance.
Yes, their testimony remains unchanged.
Exactly. They both adamantly swear that they clearly remember seeing blood on both hands of the assailant. In short, their memory of events is correct, and their testimony reveals the truth. It was somebody else sitting beside the victim that night, a third party we have yet to identify. And the victim's blood was on that passenger's hands, both of them.
Objection!
And who was this third party?
Obviously, the true culprit.
Extraordinary! Order! 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 What exactly are you postulating?
Objection!
The defense's postulation is just that. nothing more than conjecture. The witnesses have clearly said that they saw the accused.
Man, I can't believe I picked the right answer on an accidental misclick. That's funny. But when elaborating on his testimony, Mr. Fairplay said the two of them were wearing hats and couldn't exactly make out their faces.
Yes. The tops of their heads were obscured by the roof. I could see the rest of them, though.
Yes, that's right. Both gents were most certainly hatted. Hatters do tend to notice things, sir.
And what particular styles of hat did the two gentlemen sport, Mr. Forrest?
I'm afraid I don't remember.
And you call yourself a hatter?
The style of hat makes no difference. There was no third passenger in that cabin.
How can you be so sure?
Because if there had been, the accused Mr. McGilded would undoubtedly have offered to depose the fact. Unless, that is, you are proposing an even more preposterous explanation. That the accused failed to even notice the presence of the true culprit in the very cabin in which he traveled.
Yeah. He's right. If there was another person traveling in the enclosed cabin of the omnibus, it's inconceivable that Mr. McGilton would have been unaware of it.
Order! There's clearly a simple solution to this problem.
Bring the accused Mr. McGilded to the stand.
Well, what say you, counsel?
The prosecution objects, my lord.
On what grounds?
As a suspect, you will already have made a full statement to the police.
But what if there's some reason he's unable to speak freely?
Magnus McGilded is no uneducated ruffian. If it is indeed turned out the man has been withholding information, you can be sure it will have been a most deliberate act.
Counsel for the defense, what is your opinion?
My lord, should we ask Mr. McGilded to testify, or not?
Demand it!
Yes, we need to hear what he has to say in order to find out the truth. The defense would like to call Mr. McGilded to the stand.
In that case, I would like to hear the opinion of the jury. Oh, yes, I need a little time to consider this.
If you ask me, I think we should hear what Mr. McGilded has to say.
Get the man out here, I say!
It would be utterly illogical not to hear his testimony.
When something needs doing, get it done. That's how I run things at the guild.
Hearing what the patron of my favorite little park has to say. Oh yes, that would be lovely.
Yes, the jury says the man must be heard. Very well, the court will hear the defendant's testimony. Bailiff, show the defendant to the stand at once.
Now, maybe what actually happened that night will finally become clear.
The proceedings be resumed. Mr. McGilded, have you been listening to the discourse of the day?
To be sure I have, my lord.
Now, there are two matters on which the court desires to hear from you. The first is whether or not there was a third party with you in the omnibus cabin, as proposed by the defense. The second is that if such a person was indeed present, why did you conceal that fact from the police?
But gad, no! 'Tis not my nature to hide anything at all.
Just answer the questions, please.
The truth of the matter is, I've been desperate about this all along. Do I tell yous all, or keep my mouth shut?
Tell us what, Mr. McGilded.
The fine fella representing me is absolutely right. In the carriage on the night with myself and the other man, there was another passenger.
It's true?
Aye. 'Twas me who helped the little urchin get away after it all happened.
You. What?
No. Magnus McGilded. That convenient excuse cannot save you now. Can't save you now.
I'm truly sorry, so I am, Lord Van Seeks. I'm sure you'll be wanting to know why I said nothing when I was taken in by the police. I do believe having a very good reason, I assure you.
Which was?
Well, the little child was just in the wrong place at the wrong time, and not in any way involved, you see.
What?
If the police had known the wee one was there, they'd have assumed she done it. They have hauled her into this here courtroom just like myself. I was only trying to spare her that. Young hearts and young minds are easily damaged, my lord.
Her. And who was this young child of whom you speak?
That, I don't know.
You don't know?
Hi, well, the wee thing just happened to be in the carriage that night. Never saw her before or since.
Objection!
We have absolutely no reason to believe this man. The prosecution calls for the witness's statements to be disregarded by the court.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised if the urchin isn't here in this courtroom as you speak, listening to the proceedings.
What? What the hell? Ah, smoke! Fire! There's a fire! Someone's trying to get away! I'm with no use! I can't see the smoke! What's going on?
Be careful, Mr. Naruhodo. Cover your face.
Bailiff, don't let the accused escape. Secure the omnibus.
I hereby call an emergency recess. Bailiff, ensure the defendant is in custody and clear the courtroom.
What the hell? What the hell's going on? We were hurriedly removed from the smoke-filled courtroom by the bailiff. Amid the scene of chaos, as people stumbled over one another in their desperation to flee the chamber, we had no idea what was happening. All we knew that was, in fact, for the time being, that the trial was suspended. To be continued. And save. I think I'll end the stream here.
Farewell for now.
Yeah, but yeah, I imagine the second segment's gonna be way longer, so good day. I think it will be good to call it here. So, oops. Oh no, that's too early. Okay. Okay. Oh yeah, farewell for now.